Hello, this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. Today I want to show you a really cool wooden wall telephone. This is a Dean Electric Company telephone, and this is Don's telephone from Arkansas. And it's really a beautiful telephone. It's in very good condition, and this is the initial checkout of it. So it's a very cool telephone, and what we're going to do with this telephone is Don wants to be able to just hold a conversation on this telephone with the clarity that he would need to talk on it every day if he wanted to. And so we're going to install a network board, a new transmitter or a microphone in the transmitter, and a new receiver capsule in the receiver. And we're also going to set the telephone up with a modular port so he can bring a line cord in, any length, color, or whatever, and bring it in and plug it into a modular port. And that makes for a nice, clean connection. He can also wants to have the bells set up to where when he gets a call they ring, and when you crank the crank they ring. So basically we have to set up a little circuit for that so that when he gets a telephone call it comes in and rings the bells, but yet when he cranks the telephone and rings the bells it does not backfeed any voltage into the telephone line. So this is the initial checkout, and we're going to kind of show you a little bit of the telephone here. I have it open, and he still has his schematic here on the door. And then he has his magneto. And everything looks to be untouched. There's even some plates that would hold the batteries down here. This one's loose. We'll secure that. We also have our receiver cap in here. This does not stay on very well, but we'll go ahead and make sure that when we repair this telephone and convert it, that this stays on his receiver capsule. He still has his wires hanging here where the batteries were hooked up, and the schematic shows you how to wire your batteries and everything. So it's just a really cool telephone, and it's in beautiful condition. So Don's got a really nice telephone here, and it's a keeper. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to start working on this telephone and converting it and repairing everything that we need to repair. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back now, and we're finished up with this telephone, and we're going to kind of run through a few things that went on with this telephone. We kind of worked on a little bit of everything basically, but we have a newer receiver inside the receiver capsule. We also have a newer style microphone in the transmitter. We also installed a network board so that we had the quality on transmit and receive that Don would need to talk on this telephone every day, just like a normal telephone. We also went through the magneto, oiled that, and adjusted some of the connections to it, the points. And we're going to go ahead and ring this telephone. So now, just like before, when you crank the telephone, the bells will ring. But when you get a call, the bells will ring also. And we had to create a little circuit that when you crank the telephone, you're not backfeeding voltage into the telephone line. So now what we can do is give you a look at the inside. But another thing I want to talk about is this telephone has a pretty rare option on the side of it. Basically, it's a lever and a catch, and it's gravity activated. So when you pick up the receiver capsule, you will not get dial tone because it will not let the hook switch up. And so basically, you're supposed to grab the hook switch and press that lever, and that will enable the hook switch to come up all the way. And probably the reason why they had that option was if any young kids or anyone, played with the receiver capsule and played with a phone, that it would not go off hook and wear your battery down that these telephones had in them. And we'll give you a picture of that so that you can see that. But it's a pretty rare option. You won't see it very often. Another thing that this telephone has is a metal spit cup. They had some glass ones. They had some porcelain, plastic, Bakelite, and this one just turns out to be metal. So it's you don't have to worry about it getting chipped or anything like that because it's actually metal. So another thing we did was on the top, and I'm going to give you a picture of that. There's a hole that you could bring a line into. You didn't necessarily bring the line in through the back, you brought it in through the top. And so we utilized that hole for our modular plug. So now what I want to do is I'm going to open the telephone here. And we have our line cord. So now Don, all he has to do is just simply bring his line cord in through the top, and he can put any length, any color that he chooses. And then we've installed a modular port here. And all you have to basically do is just walk up to it, bring your line cord in, and plug right into your modular port. Everything has been rewired. It's been rewired the way we need it wired to work on a modern system. And this telephone's in very good condition. So now that everything's been taken care of and repaired and converted, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and ring this telephone. We'll let that go a couple times. That's how you would remove the handset. When your handset is set into place on the receiver hook switch, basically you grab the hook switch or the receiver capsule, and with your thumb you release the hook here. And I want to give you some dial tone. But if I just hang the receiver up, it's locked and you won't have any dial tone. So that's a pretty neat option. This telephone does not have a dialing capability. What we're going to do is go ahead and move this telephone over to a regular line. And we're going to call a time and temp number. We'll go ahead and give you some dial tone.
Good afternoon. Shop online anytime at Offenberg.com. A short drive to great value. Today is Thursday, October 4th. The time is 2:40. Current temperature 91 degrees. Now the Belleville area weather forecast.
Mostly sunny today with highs in the mid-80s, partly cloudy tonight, then becoming cloudy with rain after midnight, lows around 50. Much cooler on Friday, showers likely, highs in the 50s.
Okay, so now what we can do is give you some dial tone, and I want to show you, anytime you try to crank this telephone, it cuts off the regular line. And so now we know that anytime someone walks up to this telephone and tries to crank it and ring the bells, that it actually disconnects the telephone line from the telephone, and that way we're not backfeeding any voltage into the regular telephone line. So this is a really cool telephone that Don's got here, and it's a keeper. And he's got some pretty cool options on it, like the hole at the top for your line cord. In the old days, it would have been hardwired and brought in that way. And then your option here that your hook switch is in the locked position. No dial tone now, and you can release it and have dial tone. And that was most likely so that the hook switch wouldn't go off if a kid was playing with it, a young child or someone, or that they laid the receiver down or something so that the batteries wouldn't wear down. But this is Dennis with A1 Telephone Service and Repair, A1 Electronics. You can reach us on the web at www.a1-telephone.com, and you can also reach us at 618-235-6959. This is Don's telephone. It's a Dean Electric telephone, and he's from Arkansas. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.